direct sales for around 10 years. So when I thought about what I wanted to say tonight, I probably rehearsed a million different things and nothing felt quite right. I couldn't quite figure out how I wanted to convey to you guys what we have our hands on. And all I kept hearing in my head was to just share my story. So some of you guys may or may not know, but I personally made a major shift in my family's life based off of one thing, Justin's vision. And saying it out loud sounds a bit crazy to literally walk away from a six-figure income and go all in with Make Wellness. But maybe some of you guys can relate to that, or maybe some of you guys are new here and you're just getting a feel for what all of this hype is about. Hopefully, after tonight, you're going to catch the same vision that caused me to finally begin dreaming again. So when I was first introduced to the vision for Make Wellness, I knew right away, this is something special. Holistic peptides, hello. Justin Prince, hello, sign me up. Like, I am 100% confident that this is the biggest thing that any of us have ever done. And Make Wellness is going to transform lives, but not just by improving physical health, by offering real financial opportunities to so many families. I have seen how impactful this industry can be, but what we're doing at Make Wellness is on a whole nother level. Like, you guys do feel that, right? This is going to change the game. Guys, we're creating a movement. This is going to be bigger than anything else out there. And I know firsthand how powerful it is when you align yourself with the right people, the right mission, and the right vision. And Justin is at the heart of this movement. Do you guys understand how rare Justin is? Like, for me, Justin isn't just the founder of Make Wellness. He's someone who leads with heart, with purpose, and with values. Over the years, I've had the privilege of calling him a mentor. So I can tell you from personal experience, he has a true heart of gold. And one of my personal favorite things about Justin is that family values guide everything he does. He's an incredible father to his kids. He's an incredible husband to his wife, Missy. And he makes everyone feel seen and valued. And for me, that's somebody that I want to follow. So on that note, I want to thank you, Justin, for allowing me to be part of this tonight. It is an absolute honor to open up this call and introduce the man behind it all, Justin Prince.
Oh my gosh, Susanna, you are something else. So what an honor to be on with you tonight. My friends, thank you so much for being here. Can you guys give her some serious love in the chat? I mean, Susanna is like class personified. You know what I'm saying? She's just high class. And she really is a beautiful person inside and out. She's compassionate. She's kind. She's highly focused. One thing about her that I love is she really deeply cares about people. And then at the same time, she knows how to go out and like get her goals done. Do you know what I'm saying? Like make commitments, make decisions, make things happen. So Susanna, we were saying this before the call started, how honored I am that you're with us. Like some of those very first calls, those are some big gulps. Those are some big decisions to say, am I in on this thing? And so we are so honored you're here and you are crushing it. And it is so fun to watch. So proud of you. You're amazing. My friends, tonight is going to be a quick moving call because we have a really special guest. You know, as you know, one of the things that we're really focused on in our business is in developing people, right? Helping people to be the best version of themselves. And so one of the things that we do each month, as you know, is we have a book of the month. And one of our great leaders, one of my dear friends, Jordan Kemper, said, you gotta read Jon Gordon's The One Truth. And it's funny, I'd actually followed Jon and listened to a bunch of his stuff. And so I'd never read one of his books, although he's written some really incredible books. I'm a big fan now. I'm gonna read the rest of them. And so I want to encourage you tonight. You'll hear from Jon. He's going to jump on. So, we have a guy that, man, you'll go to big events, pay huge fees to listen to this guy speak. This is a New York Times bestselling author. So he'll share with us here just in a few minutes, but I want to give you some updates on the business. We're approaching 33,000 people that have pre-enrolled with us. My friends, this is spectacular what's happening. I'm just telling you, this is life-changing stuff. And it's because of great leaders like Susanna and Jordan Kemper and great leaders like you. And I want you to know that with all the great things that we've done, where we're going is what's really exciting. Where we're going heading into the end of October when we'll start shipping out our very first products, and the Founders Box is October 28th. Where we're going in November 1st when the early access to our makewellness.com opens. Where we're going in November 16th when all of our customers get access to it. Where we're going at the beginning of next year as we launch into 2025, and where we're going in March of next year, with the launch of the company. So, the vision of why we're doing this is bigger than a product. It's bigger than a company. It's bigger than bioactive precision peptides. It's to truly create a leadership revolution where we can change people's hearts, we can change their homes, help build great moms and dads, help change people's local communities, and then ultimately go change our country and add value and change the world. So we're doing something special. You're here in those. This is I remember where I was when moment, right? We're, still 5-6 weeks away from launch, and you're here, in those early days. So it's a special, special time. I wanted to bring on Bob Finnegan, our Chief Marketing Officer. Bob has got some amazing updates of what's happening in the business. And so I want him to kind of give you some really big, but really quick updates. I'll have Alan Jones, our nutritional biochemist and one of our lead scientists, have him share with you what we're doing Thursday. We got some big announcements for Thursday. And then I have a couple things I'll share, and then we'll introduce you to Jon Gordon. All right. So with that, Bob, man, I know you've been burning the candle at both ends. You get some of you guys remember he was sick. I told him he gave me whatever he had because he gave it to me through Zoom. But he was sick and he was still making stuff happen. He and his wife and their little family just traveled across the country today to attend to the funeral of his wife's grandmother, they were very close with. So, Bob, we have both heavy hearts with you tonight, but then also a lot of celebration because that grandma raised an amazing granddaughter and ultimately a beautiful family with you guys. So I know it's a day to celebrate, and it's a day to be somber and remember too. So we love you and appreciate all the great work you do. And we're excited for, what you're doing with social media tonight, with the new landing page, and just, all of the marketing materials you're constantly giving us to make our lives a little easier. So I'll turn that time over to you.
Well, thank you. I listen, I appreciate that. I actually will take a minute. Mary Ann Hiskey was 83 years old and passed away unexpectedly. She was not my grandmother. She was my wife's, but she became a really strong mentor to me, and an incredible person, incredible heart. My wife spoke at her arrangements today, and she did a beautiful job, and it was really tough for her. But she used the word tough in two contexts. One is tough in all the things that she went through. She was in the Air Force as a young lady, met a young man named Michael, and they moved to a state she had never set foot in, and they built a life together with 10 grandchildren, 10 great grandchildren now. And she lived out in the desert while he went back into service and lived with her mother-in-law, and it just an incredible woman. She was also tough because she had conviction. She had conviction and purpose about her life, and she never missed a birthday. She gave at every turn without wanting to ever receive any credit. And I just think she was a wonderful example. And so I thank you for sharing that. And it really brings to light the community that we have here and the leadership team at the Make Wellness side of it, because you guys have all supported me through these kind of little, these tough times. It's life. But, she was a really special woman. I think there's a lot of lessons learned. So it's very top of mind for me today. That said, I want to reiterate kind of a couple things from last week. We're going to flip it to a positive, like before I start bawling here on tonight's call, because this is a really exciting call. But we have been in incredible amount of packaging. We have some things that we've shown you on packaging. We actually elevated some of the packaging from the last rounds that you've seen. They are packages at the end of the day. They're beautiful boxes, but they're stories more than anything. And I want you to believe and understand in this brand, and that everything we do is by design and with intention. This is just our first round, but all of the mechanics on there and how we think and how we create and how we reveal and how we open the box, hopefully will all support you in understanding these very special, very premium, but very complex scientific products. We're kind of constantly combining that art and science together. We also have the Founders Box, and we're getting some shareable assets. And I want you to really remember how special this moment is, and thinking about purchasing and buying that Founders Box as your commemorative memory of what we're doing here today. It's really, really beautiful, really, really special. I actually saw some previews of the first prototypes, and they'll be coming off the line as soon as next week. So it's like lights out. From here, I want to highlight one thing, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me just do that really quickly. Well, there's a little warning here. Let's see. Okay.
Is it letting you do it?
Yep. Can you see that okay?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Okay. So as of this morning, okay, timeisnow.us. We have updated this. This is beautiful, beautiful stuff. And it's in support of some of our top leaders who have given really great feedback and collaboration to really elevate our game and to simplify and to start creating unified funnels, because we're building content so fast. And I know you guys have to send out a YouTube video and then take them here and then send the teaser, and then there's a login for the back office. But this page here, this is on desktop. It's going to look beautiful on mobile. Notice this little side navigation where you can just bounce back and forth on the page. We've updated with some amazing content. So the first video you're going to see, and apologize for my screen here, but this is a video that Justin laid down. If you haven't heard him tell the story, this is a 7-minute, as tight and awesome as you could tell the Make Wellness brand, the Make Wellness story, our model, our products, our compensation, and how we're going to just change the scope of the industry. It's such a powerful, well-articulated. He's really done an amazing job, and he's just such a great storyteller. But that 7-minute video should be seen by the world. The flow from there is the highlights on the business. We're going to talk about reinventing wellness in health and even beyond. You know, we're talking about body, brain, beauty, and beyond as our next gen nutraceutical and dietary supplement company. We are the bioactive precision peptide company. We want everyone to know it. Underneath that is so much deeper. We're building a lifestyle brand that you can share, that you can be proud of, that you can have confidence and belief in, that one, that you want to wear the gear, that we will have, I promise, that you want to make an impact, that you want to make magic happen. And remember, Make is all about touching others, like becoming your best self and then changing your community and your world. That community is so special. The people that I've already had the privilege of meeting are not only poised for greatness, they've already achieved such greatness in their lives, but this is one of the most unique opportunities that I've ever been involved with. If you notice, as I'm scrolling, you'll see this little sign up link. So you may have had conversations with others already. So the pump is primed. They just want to get in. They want to sign up. We're going to go ahead and click that link. The form is at the bottom of the page, but we're just trying to simplify, make this a really neat funnel. You're going to meet the team, learn a little bit more about the products. There is a horizontal scroll here that just give you a quick preview of some of that. And then further down in the story is really a deeper dive video. I think this one runs about 20 minutes. So for that prospect, that person that's really, on the fence, get them to listen to that. I mean, this is just an unbelievable summation of the things that you're hearing on this Monday night call. So I did want to share that. Again, like, this is beautiful on mobile. We're going to continue to update this and improve upon it, but drive people here. This is a really critical time. We're heading right into October, and before you know it, we're going to be in that pre-order phase of the Founders, Club. And the Founders Club, I think, is definitely something you're going to want to be a part of. From there, I just want to highlight a couple other things really quickly. We have a thing called the Make Wellness Hub. It is available after you are an active affiliate who is pre-enrolled. You're going to go to your back office. You're going to see a link on the side called the Hub. This is your source. This is where everything is located. So as we make announcements, as things come up, we might not have time for a call. You'll see our promotion of the call, the new page. you're going to find that stuff here. And there's already a few things that I do want to highlight. The Energized product flyer was published on Friday. If you saw it, great. Feel free to share it. Provide us feedback. We're going to continue to improve upon these tools. But if you haven't, it's located here. We also put in some email notifications for pre-enrollment. So as people are enrolling on your team, you should be starting to get those notifications. It's a really nice feature, but you'll see the call schedules as you're here and just a wealth of information. And again, as we're doing things in real time in this pre-enrollment, headed to pre-launch phase, it's really important that we use the authoritative source of things, because things change, things are evolving, things are growing, things are maturing, and for very good reasons. We work with our field leaders, we hear things, and we want to continuously improve to make the best launch possible. So here's a quick look at that Energized flyer. Again, Alan is just unbelievable in telling these stories, but I think there's a really great amount of content here, and I'm just so grateful to work with him. Couple other things. There is a new one-page compensation flyer. This is going to be published this week. Super exciting, because I know there's a ton of information, and if you know, our compensation is for the modern affiliate, and I'm just going to click back to this page, and summarizing that in a very succinct and simple way is really key, because simple is the new sexy. There's a lot of complications underneath it, just like bioactive precision peptides, and so we want to be thoughtful on that. So be on the lookout for that. A couple other things. We are Make Wellness. We are Make Wellness. Write that down. Our Instagram account, I want you to go follow it. We're going to start publishing content there this week. Be patient with me. It's going to be beautiful static content that's starting to tell the story of the brand, the product, the lifestyle, the community, the potential of bioactive peptides, and all the things. So it's going to be another really fun source. We want everyone engaged in there. And certainly you're going to start to see those assets show up in your back office that'll become shareable. And then on the docket, we have heard a lot about GLP-1. We know synthetic peptides are out there. We know there's a lot of stories of complications, and we want to be really clear. So we're creating a side-by-side on GLP-1, synthetic, injectable, expensive pharmaceutical peptides against some of the bioactive precision peptides in the product called Lean, and being an ingestible, being derived from nature, a very simple product at its top level, but a wonderful set of claims that are really great. And I think you're going to want to see that. And then lastly, next on the docket, I want you to know heavy technology. We're investing very heavily in some of the best in class technology and tools to make a beautiful, simple customer experience, somewhere where people can shop, they can purchase really simple, they can share and tell with their friends. And on the backside, if you become an affiliate and you want to become part of this family to share with more of your friends and build teams and really invest in some of the leadership that we're offering here, we're going to have a wonderful back office. Those tool systems are being built right now. We're actually pretty far along. I'm feeling really great. And again, we've elected to invest in some of the best in class software and technology. And you're going to see that it's not a one and done. It's not something that we launch. It's going to be a way of life, something that continues to evolve and mature each and every day. Customer rewards, affiliate rewards, beautiful incentives, new features, new functions, and so forth. So it's an exciting time. I got 100 other things I could talk to you about, but I'm going to kind of stop there. And I want to compromise the call with Jordan and Jon. So
love it, Bob. Thank you so much, guys. He's been working tirelessly behind the scenes. We're actually meeting as a team on Wednesday, and Bob, just appreciate you, bro. Just appreciate all the great work, and really looks amazing. I loved everyone in the chat. Like, looks amazing. The brand looks awesome. So Alan is our, he's a nutritional biochemist. He's one of our chief scientists that's really working, tirelessly behind the scenes, specifically on the products, but also product education. And every Thursday night, he does a live training. And Alan, give us just the super quick of what we're going to catch this week, because it's a big deal this week as we go into the ingredients.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. So this week, Thursday's product training call, we're going to do a deep dive into the ingredients of each product. And so I would invite you to join us on Thursday night. We have a lot of good stuff to talk about, a lot of good stuff that's going to give you an idea of how our complementary coenzyme and cofactor formulations work within each one of the bioactive precision peptides. And excited to have you there and excited to get to talk about it. So we're finally opening this up and get to talk about whole products now. So it's going to be a great night.
That's right, Alan. Appreciate all the great work you do, brother. It's tireless, on simplifying the science, bringing the story to life. So, guys, some of you guys have been waiting for the ingredients, right? Okay, what are all the ingredients? We've shared with you all the stuff we don't use, but we want to share with you this week all the stuff we do use, and I think you're going to be blown away this Thursday. And if you're excited now, wait till you see the whole thing. We've done it for competitive reasons, by the way, to not just release everything for competitive reasons, but we feel like it's the right time to start sharing that education as well. So I'm going to turn the time over to Jordan Kemper to introduce Jon Gordon. But I just want to recommend this whole book of the month concept. I know it's on one hand, maybe it's a little cheesy, and I know you have 57,000 things going on in your life. I get it, man. On the other hand, if for things to change, we have to change. For things to get better, we have to get better. It's like, don't wish things were easier, wish you were a little better. And what I love about books, this book to me, this is one of those ones you can process and you can really, dive through. What I love about books, it takes all of these years and years and decades of wisdom that someone has, in this case that Jon has, and it pours it into your mind in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and then as a team, a leadership team, we can discuss this stuff. And you can get access to true thought leaders, people that are really moving the ball forward. So, Jordan, I'll turn it over to you. And man, Jon, we are so honored you're here, brother. We really respect you, and we're just thrilled to have you. So, Jordan, take us away.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. Man, what an honor to introduce tonight's speaker. Before I do, I want to ask you, how many of you guys have your copy of The One Truth? How many of you guys are already experiencing breakthrough in this book? Man, I will tell you, I feel like this book, I have never read something that's so concise and simplistic at helping people specifically to win the head game. And that's why I love this book so much. I love also that our company is committed to personal growth and leadership. And so I really want to implore each of you that when Justin and the team gives us a book to read for the month, man, participate, go all in. Read the book, get the copy as quickly as you can, get through the book, and encourage your teams to do the same so that we can create a culture of leadership. So let me start with what matters most to tonight's speaker. It's his faith and it's his family. Jon absolutely loves his wife, Catherine. He talks about her so honorably when she's not around. I love how he talks about his children. You can tell a lot about a person by how they talk about the people that they love when they're not around. I know that without a doubt, his faith and his family are his highest priority. He's also the author of 30 books, including 17 bestsellers and 5 children's books. I don't want to overlook that point, my friends. I have written a book, 17 best-selling books. He's inspired millions of readers and audiences around the world. Some of his best books you've probably heard of. That includes The Energy Bus, The Carpenter, Training Camp, The Power of Positive Leadership, and The Power of a Positive Team. Throughout his career, he's coached the best of the best in the business, in entertainment, in the business world, in sports. Let me just name a few of his clients that he works with on a regular basis. The LA Dodgers, In-N-Out Burger, the LA Rams, Campbell Soup, Dell, Publix, Southwest Airlines, my hometown Chicago Bulls, the Miami Heat, the Colorado Rockies, Truist Bank, Clemson Football, Northwest Mutual, West Point Academy, and many, many more. And when he's not running around airports or speaking to businesses, hospitals, or schools, you're going to find Jon dominating the pickleball court or taking long walks where he gets most of his creative ideas. I was with Jon just a few weeks ago in Iowa. One of the things I loved about Jon is he's like, man, don't treat me any differently, man. He was just jumped right in, shared a bunk bed. He was navigating the room, just trying to figure out where he could add value to other people's lives. And I think it just speaks to the leadership and humility that Jon has. Now, I will tell you that I broke Jon's rule tonight. Jon believes in keeping his biography very short because he says that his past accomplishments are meaningless. What matters to Jon most is that what he says today will inspire each of you to take action tomorrow. So with that being said, man, help me welcome my dear friend, Jon Gordon.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jordan. I appreciate that. Really great introduction. Means so much and just so kind of you. Justin, thank you so much for the honor to speak to your company, all your representatives, all the great people. Make Wellness sounds incredible. I'm excited about it. Like I want to learn more. So it is really cool what you've put together and what you have built. And we know that no one creates success alone. We all need a team to be successful. I wrote a book, The Power of a Positive Team. These are the principles and practices that make great teams great. And we know that a united and connected team is a powerful team. We know that a divided and separate team, a disconnected team, is a very weak team. And that goes to the heart of the one truth. The one truth is that everything comes down to oneness and separateness. The more one you are, the more connected, the more powerful you are. The more separate and divided, the weaker you are. And that goes for us individually as well. And this was a book that came to me on a walk a couple of years ago. Like 2 years ago, I was getting these downloads that were just coming to me, how often my books do. I write a book in about 3.5 to 4 weeks when I write a book, and they just sort of come to me, and I know what to write. I know what the vision is. And with this book, I was getting these downloads, and I was starting to see this framework and how it was all coming together. And then I was testing it against our own reality, our own life, and just throwing examples at this framework that was coming to me. And the more I did that, the more it made sense. And then I went on a bunch of calls with a bunch of coaches in the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. I was talking to Doc Rivers and the coach of the Giants and the coach of the Vikings and the coach of the Packers and Sean McVay with the Rams. And I was telling them and teaching them the one truth. I taught it to a bunch of athletes as well, like Damian Lillard and Dak Prescott and different quarterbacks and players. And I was just sharing these concepts with them. And they were like, oh, I get it. It makes so much sense the way I was teaching them. Everything in the book I was teaching first. So the book was actually easy to write because I taught it for a while. We're talking like an hour every phone call teaching it. And then I went and wrote the book after that. But I didn't write it until I visited this 16-year-old who was suicidal in the ER 2 nights before. And he was really struggling with his mental health. And he was having all these suicidal thoughts. And I knew his mom, and I was back home visiting in my hometown. And I heard about how he was struggling. So I reached out to his mom and I said, I'd love to talk to him. And he wouldn't talk to me. When you are in that state, you don't want to talk to anybody. You want to retreat from others and retreat from life, not connect to others and not connect to life. Eventually, I got him to meet with me. And so I'm sitting there and we started talking about the negative thoughts that he was experiencing. And I said to him, did those negative thoughts come from you? And he said, yeah, of course, they're in my head. And my next question was, if those negative thoughts come from you, who would ever choose to have a negative thought? Would you ever choose a negative thought? He's like, no, I wouldn't. I'm like, exactly. They're not coming from you. No one would choose them. I've talked to neuroscientists. No one has ever found a thought inside of a brain. When you're dreaming, having a nightmare, are you choosing those thoughts? No, they come from consciousness. They come from a spiritual place. And those negative thoughts so often lie to us and accuse us, attack us, and weaken us. They tell us that we're not enough, that the future is hopeless. We're not going to be successful. We're not going to recruit more people. We're not going to be able to develop a great business. We're not going to be able to thrive. We get all those thoughts that come in, but they're not coming from us. But what happens is too often we believe the lies that they tell. And then we reinforce them. Then we speak them out loud. And then we feel guilt and shame for the thoughts that are in our head that we didn't choose in the first place. And then we beat ourselves up. And this is where this young man was. I said, do those thoughts accuse you and attack you? He said, all the time. They make me just want to give up. And so once he understood his thoughts were not coming from him, he started to shift. And then I told him, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to be fixed, because he was feeling like something was wrong with him and he needed to be fixed. I said, you're just in a battle between negative and positive. There are two main frequencies that everybody is tuning into. The brain is an antenna, and you're tuning into two main frequencies, a positive frequency and a negative frequency. And everything comes down to positive and negative. And so often it's also a spiritual battle where these negative thoughts, again, are weakening us, making us feel powerless. And so I explained that he was just in a battle between negative and positive. And then I explained that you're a hero in your own epic story. Every one of us is. You are a hero. Listen to this right now. Yes, you're a hero. And you must overcome negativity on your journey to create your future and impact others and save the world like every hero. The hero must overcome a villain, conflict, adversity, and challenges to define themselves and save the world. And it's the same thing with us. In every great movie, it's true. And in life, it is true. You have to overcome the negative with positive thoughts, with belief, with optimism, with hope, with faith to ultimately create your future and impact the world. And so once he understood that he was a hero in his own story, then things really shifted, And he realized those negative thoughts were not coming from him. And he just had to learn how to win the battle of his mind. And right then and there, I saw the shift. I saw his energy change. I saw his life change in that moment. It was the most powerful feeling and the best feeling I've ever had in my life. And the next day, his mom said, "What did you do? He's fine now." I said, I just shared the truth with him. Called him up just recently. This is several years later. The book was inspired. Like I knew I had to write the book because of him. I said, "How you doing?" He said, "Doing great, Mr. Gordon." High state of mind. High state of mind. You see, I taught him that we have low states of mind and high states of mind. And that was the beginning of the transformation with him, besides him understanding the truth that I shared. High state of mind, low state of mind. Before I get to that, I want to tell you, it was after that meeting, I said, okay, I've got to write this book now because it just saved a life. And how many other lives can we save? Since then, the book has been out for about a year now. And also I've taught it to many different teenagers and college students who are struggling with their mental health. Parents and friends of mine who have kids will say, "Hey, will you talk to my kids?" And I've been doing that over and over again. And I'm literally seeing them transformed in one session. This is why this book is so important, because everything I would say to them, I wrote in this book in a way that teaches people step by step what I would teach you if we met. And if you were struggling, or if you had a child who was struggling, or a friend or a family member, I would teach you this framework and help you understand. And it begins with the high state of mind and low state of mind. You see, circumstances are always going to happen to us. There'll be setbacks, there'll be challenges, there'll be obstacles. When you're in a low state of mind, the circumstance happens and you feel like the circumstance is more powerful than you. When you're in a high state of mind, the same circumstance happens and you know the truth, that you are more powerful than your circumstance. One day you're in traffic and it bothers you. The next day you're in the same traffic and it doesn't. I share this in the book. Is it the traffic making you feel a certain way? And those who have read the book know that no, it's not the traffic. It's always your state of mind. There are days where like we get a rejection and it really bothers us and we want to give up. Other days we get the same rejection and we're like, no, we got this. We're going to overcome. We'll move forward. We'll make this happen. High state of mind, low state of mind. Are you tracking with me on this? Put in the chat if you're tracking with me, if this is making sense. All right, high state, low state. What characterizes a low state of mind? If you read the book, you know that it's a lot of clutter for a low state of mind. It's a lot of thought, a lot of worry, fear, anxiety, and doubt. What characterizes a high state of mind? A lot of clarity, a lot of focus, a lot of positivity, confidence, and courage. And here's the thing. Negative thoughts lower our state of mind. They create clutter. Have you noticed that overthinking is always associated with negative thoughts? Like, we never say, I have too many positive thoughts. Man, I am just thinking too positive today. No one lays in bed at night with their thoughts racing, thinking about how awesome their life is. It's always the negative that actually clutters our mind because it lowers our state of mind. And that's the intention of negative thoughts. Negative thoughts divide, and they separate. The root for the Greek word of anxious means to separate and divide. When you're anxious, you actually feel separate and divided. And as I wrote in the book, all mental health disorders report feelings of isolation and disconnection and separation. Think about that. When you're depressed, you feel disconnected and separate. So the more disconnected you are, the more fear you have, the more anxiety, the more worry, the more negative thoughts, you can feel how that makes you feel more and more powerless and lowers your state of mind even further. And this is why when you think something's wrong with you and you think something's broken, this is why you try to then fix it. And then you have revved up thought, and that creates more clutter and a lower state of mind. The key is to read this book and understand how thoughts work. And once you do, you will realize that you have the tools necessary to elevate your state of mind. And this is why this is so important, because as I said, the brain's an antenna, and we can tune into every day a higher positive frequency to elevate our state of mind to overcome the lower negative state of mind. See, people for years have talked about positive and negative, right? And we've heard positive speakers talk for years, and I was one of those speakers with the energy bus and the power of positive leadership. And yes, it works. Yes, it makes a difference. But I wasn't able to explain why. And no one really knew why. Like, we don't really know in the past, like, why does meditation work? Why does mindfulness work? Because it lowers the amount of thoughts that you have. It decreases the clutter. So it raises your state of mind. So you're able to tune into that higher frequency, which then energizes your brain and your body. It makes sense once you understand this, right? So what we can now understand is why positivity truly matters, why it's not a nice way to think. It's the way to think, to uplift, to unite, to connect, and to strengthen. So I want you to remember this as we're going to have some takeaways now. What can we do to elevate our state of mind? And we can tune into the positive, TUNE. And in the back of the book, I have an acronym of tune, whole, and prayer. These are really great ways, all three ways to elevate your state of mind and things that you can practice, because I knew I needed to give the reader ways to put this into practice, to understand and to experience the power of this, because it's not a one-day thing. It's not a one-moment thing. It's a daily, moment-to-moment thing where the more we do this and we elevate our state of mind, we actually go to a higher level. We think higher thought. We experience more power, more oneness, more confidence, more courage, more peace, more wholeness, more healing. We're talking about making wellness. We're talking about wholeness and healing. This is the ultimate way from a mental standpoint, a psychological standpoint, a holistic standpoint, and a spiritual standpoint to operate and live at a higher level. And that T begins with trust. And it's things you've already heard before and know, but it's put into a framework that really makes sense and in understanding why this is so powerful. Fear, anxiety, and doubt disconnect you. Trust connects you. So anytime I'm feeling stressed, anytime I find myself feeling anxious, I just say a little prayer. God, I trust in you, God. I don't have all the answers, but I know that you do. I'm not the creator of the universe, but you are. And so I trust in your plan for my life. And in that moment of trusting, I find that peace and that power that I need. And the anxiety starts to dissipate. So it begins with that T of trust. U is unite with love. The U in tune is unite with love. It's about knowing that love casts out fear, that fear ultimately separates and divides, but love unites and connects. And anytime you focus on love, fear will dissipate. I remember writing my book, The Carpenter, and I was really struggling. I had writer's block for the first time. I never had writer's block before, and I had it for the first time, and I couldn't write. I was so fearful people were going to say that my best work was behind me. I was fearful I was going to write a piece of junk, that they were going to say the energy bus, training camp were great, but this book stunk. So I got stuck and I couldn't write. I called up my publisher. I said, I don't think I'm going to write this book. He said, just sleep on it. Well, thankfully, one night I had a good night's sleep and I woke up literally with this insight, with this download, with this truth that love casts out fear. Love is more powerful than fear. And if I just focus on love, the fear will dissipate. If I love the reader and I love writing, and I love the process, I will love what the process produces. And it's the same thing with you. Love creating this business, love building it, love your clients, your customers, love them, focus on loving them, focus on the love of what you have and the opportunity you have to build and create and to live this life. And the more you do that, you will become a powerful force in the universe. Fear will dissipate and have no power over you when you are living your life in love. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The darkness dissolves. Well, fear dissolves when we are living with that love. And that love and uniting with that love is so powerful. And I tell this to professional athletes all the time. You'd be really surprised how many of the top athletes I talk to that are actually struggling with a lot of fear and anxiety from performance, from the mistakes that they're worried about making, from the outcome, from the expectations. And I say, hey, don't worry about any of that. Don't fear the outcome. Don't fear making a mistake. You just focus on loving the competition, loving the battle, loving competing in the moment, loving what you do, loving playing. If you do that, let the outcome take care of itself. It's such a simple concept, and yet it's so powerful, and we often forget it. And that's what I did with writing my own book, and that changed my life when I brought love to the process. And anytime now I'm speaking or writing, I just say, forget all of it and just love it. The love within you is more powerful than any negativity coming at you. Remember that. Also remember this with gratitude. When abundance flows into our life, it's because gratitude is flowing out of our heart. So gratitude and love are two ways to create that greater connection and power. And one other thing, someone asked me the other day, what can you do that ChatGPT can't do? Because ChatGPT can now write about 1 million books in, who knows, a few hours or 10 seconds, whatever. I said, okay, here's what I could do. I could love the reader. I can love the reader while I'm writing. Artificial intelligence cannot do that. You can love others, and your competition may not be doing that. The more you love people and love others, that is your secret ingredient. That is your key to success and power, is love, and it overcomes fear. So that's the unite with love. And then 2 more, there's neutralizing the negativity. That is essential, because even when you're loving it and focus on loving the moment and bringing love to your life, negativity is still going to come in. Those negative thoughts are still going to come in. And in that moment, you have a choice. You could ignore those negative thoughts and understand the truth that they have no power over you, or you could decide to neutralize those negative thoughts by speaking truth to those lies. And it's the best advice I ever heard. It's from Dr. James Gills, the only person on the planet to complete 6 double Ironman triathlons. That's a double Ironman, which means you do an Ironman, a day later you do another one. And the last time he did it, he was 59 years old. He was asked how he did it. He said this: I've learned to talk to myself instead of listen to myself. He said, if I listen, I hear all the fear, the negativity, the doubt, all the reasons why I can't finish this race. But if I talk to myself, I could feed myself with the words and the encouragement that I need to keep on moving forward. This is key. We got to talk to ourselves instead of listen to ourselves. And the thoughts we say are essential. I know this so well in my own life and also in my family. See, I'm not naturally positive. You might not know that because of the books I write. You might think, oh, he's Mr. Positive. No, I'm actually naturally negative. And I was so negative that my wife almost left me when I was 31 years old, lost my job during the .com crash, didn't know how I was going to pay the bills. I was so fearful. I was anxious. I was stressed. I was crumbling from the inside out. And I was blaming my wife for why my life didn't turn out the way I wanted to, why I was failing and feeling like a failure. I was blaming her. And she had enough of my negativity. She's like, I love you, but I'm not going to spend my life with someone who is like that, who makes me so miserable. You need to change if we're going to be together. And it was a huge wake-up call in that moment because she was ready to walk out the door. And I knew I needed to change. And in that moment, I began to change. In that moment, I said, all right, I want to be a better person. I want to be more positive. And I began working on my positivity. I began studying how to be more positive. And this was during the emerging field of positive psychology. This is 2001, 2002. So it was just beginning. And I began practicing these ideas and began writing about what I was doing and sharing them with others. And that's what started me on this journey as a writer and speaker. So I've been on a quest my whole life to help others get better and to be better myself. So I know what it's like to neutralize the negativity. So I was always the negative one. My wife was the positive one. But then like 2 years ago, my wife was being really negative, like so negative. She's like, I'm getting old. My body's breaking down. She said, I'm sore all the time. I work out, it doesn't work. She's like, I should just give up. It's pointless. She said, I'll never be like I was when I was younger. She was like dead serious. Like she really wanted to give up. And I'm like, honey, you got to stay positive. And she's like, shut up, positive guy. Didn't want to hear a word I had to say. I go away to a speaking engagement. I'm gone for 2 days. I come back and she's like a different person. She is positive. She is bouncing off the walls. She's all happy. Now, what am I thinking? I was there. She was negative. I leave for 2 days. I come back and she's like a different person, all positive. I said, did you find a boyfriend or something? She said, no, I had that Zoom with that health coaching company. And it's where they do really advanced testing. And they were looking at her blood, her genes, and her DNA. And they said, this is really rare. They said, we don't see this often. They told her, you have the genes of an Olympic athlete. And so now my wife is literally walking around the house saying, I am an Olympic athlete. I am an Olympic athlete. You want to play tennis tomorrow? I will crush you because I'm an Olympic athlete. The next day she's working out, doing her meal prepping. Like, are you kidding me? Like, because she's an Olympic athlete. So now she's like getting real serious. She begins working out every day. Somehow the soreness goes away. The inflammation goes away. The complaining goes away. Everything began to change. What really changed? What began the catalyst of the change that happened? Because 2 years later, she looks better than ever, feeling better than ever, younger than ever, right? What happened? Her thoughts changed. Her mindset changed. As a woman thinks, she becomes. As a man thinks, he becomes. The words and the thoughts that you think and say become the reality that you create and live. That's how powerful our thoughts are. We are more thought beings than physical beings. We are energetic beings. The energy that you think and say and live with and what you put into your body and fuel it with is essential. It is everything. We are energetic beings. And that energy that we have comes initially also from, in so many ways, from the thoughts that we are thinking and believing. Remember this, you're not the thoughts you think. Negative thoughts are going to come in. You are the thoughts that you believe and that you reinforce and that you speak out into the world. And that's why tune is so powerful. And that brings us to the E. We've got to elevate our thinking. We got to trust, unite with love, neutralize the negativity, and elevate our thinking on a daily basis. When we elevate our thinking, we elevate our life. And what's one of the best ways we can elevate our thinking? Prayer. Daily prayer is essential. I officiated my first wedding just a few weeks ago. And we talked about the fact that 99% of couples who pray together stay together. 50% who go to church. So it's not necessarily the church. It's the prayer. It's the spiritual bond. And I'm not saying don't go to church or don't go to temple or anything like that. What I am saying, it's a spiritual bond of connection that strengthens people. That prayer keeps couples together. It's so important. So praying together keeps a couple together. It's also essential for health, for happiness, for wellness. All the research is clear on that. On a daily basis, you can spend some time in prayer to elevate your thinking. And it looks like just trusting and surrendering. In the back of the book, I share some ways on how to do that. But that's how we elevate our thinking. It's the best way. Positive thoughts are great, right? Tuning into the positive is great. Trusting is great. Love is essential. Love is the highest frequency there is. And then the power of prayer connects us to our Creator. And in that connection, we find wholeness and healing and power and peace. And so more time with that will give you all the peace you need. So thank you so much for allowing me to share today. I don't know if we have time for questions. I'm happy to take some, but tune. Begin with tuning every day. It's not just a one-time thing. It's a daily thing of the repetition and the practice that takes time. I began a walk of gratitude every day, starting in 2002 when my wife almost left me. Every day I've been walking and practicing gratitude. Here we are now, 20-something years later, I'm still doing it. And what's the power of that? Tuning into the positive every day, rewiring my brain from negative to positive, winning the battle of my mind, and now living with more power and peace. And by the way, I took that walk again today. And I want you to know the power of this. And a final thought. My walks have been lately. I've been praying at the end, and here's what I prayed for. Have the one truth get out there and reach more people. I kid you not. I said that just literally a couple weeks ago. Have the book get out there and reach more people. I go, this is such a great book. I said, but I think people don't understand what it is from the title maybe, but just have it get out there. The Energy Bus took a few years for it to get out there. Now it's sold over 3 million copies. The One Truth is nowhere near that. So I'm like, I want this book to impact people like the Energy Bus has. And next thing you know, I get a call, literally. Get a call the next day from Jordan and reaching out, asking me if I would be interested in doing this. And they were going to have you read The One Truth. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. So this is so special to me. This is like, you are part of just this prayer that I had. You're literally the answer to a prayer that I had. And I hope this book and tonight is an answer to your prayers.
And Jon, just really, 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 it's just beautiful stuff. It's like it's like rich tactical content, but it's also really deep and rich, really thoughtful spirit content. It's really great stuff. Your thoughts on love, that's some of the best I've ever heard it taught and trained. And when you focus on that, it shifts away from, to your point, the fear and the doubt and the uncertainty and do I have what it takes, into like, how can I love and serve people? Like, how can I go show my passion for people? And it was just really beautifully done. And all of the concepts of Tomb, one thing I've really been trying to focus on is this idea of speaking truth to the lies. When just because, as you talk about in the book, just because you have the thought doesn't mean the thought's real or true, or that you have to believe it and you have to agree with it. You can speak truth to those lies. It's just so well thought out. So my friends, when we talk about these books, it's funny. It's like, it's not that it's a sales pitch for a book. It's like if that's how it hits you, I want to encourage you to think differently about this. These books, can change your whole life. These concepts can change your whole life. So it's more than $15 or $20 or $26, whatever it is to go buy a book. My mentor said, don't read books. He said, study them. And those early terms and those early concepts really changed my life. But Jon, I just want you to know, we know you're sought after, with big audiences. And so we want you to know how valuable we feel like your time is and how valuable it is to us and how much we appreciate your book being, something that as a company we can study this month. And I'll make you a commitment that this won't be the last one. I know you have some other highly impactful books for us to learn from and to study. And so can't wait to meet you in person, brother. I really look forward to it. And again, just really honor you and God bless you. And thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks, Justin. I appreciate you and what you're building and the entire team. Amazing. I'm so just blown away. Thank you.
All right, my friends. Well, I will see you tomorrow at noon Mountain, 2:00 Eastern for an overview. Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Thursday night, we'll go over all of the ingredients with Alan Jones. If you could tonight, besides getting the book, make sure you go shout Jon out on Instagram. Make sure you follow him. And people like him that are playing the game at that kind of a frequency, that kind of high mental state, you want to get some proximity with them, even if it's just through Instagram videos, even if it's just through books. You want to get proximity because they can really help to change your life. So Jon, thank you again. And my friends, I'm proud of you. Almost 33,000 people in 45 days. This is really special what we're doing. And it's just the beginning. So see you guys again tomorrow. You're the best. Talk soon.